Oh boy, we're going to talk about community feedback has on the BATTLEWORLD game mode. I'm thinking that most people in the community are generally underwhelmed or frustrated, specifically with the Spec Ops, with the level of coordination it creates with your alliance, and there's some general confusion. So we're going to go over some of it. This is pretty important right here. Cannot seem to find a good answer on how often Spec Ops will rotate. Is it a week, a season, longer? Knowing this will help Captain's Leader understand how much time investment alliance planning will be. And Pathfinder Community Manager said, I can confirm that Spec Ops missions will not change for quite a while, and that if when they do, we will give adequate heads up for that they would be changing. So that is good. So let's get into some of the feedback that I've been seeing. We're here on Red. Dear Scopely BattleWorld, not fun, crappy rewards, poorly thought out, coordination level required for Spec Ops versus rewards. Do better. It's just sad at this point. Thought this was a pretty constructive post right here. My thoughts on BattleWorld. The things I like about BattleWorld are the concept of moving through nodes with special bonuses and requirements that change each day. Yeah, I kind of like that. The push towards a boss fight, I kind of like that. I think the null fight is interesting. But even though the community hasn't got to experience that yet, I think it's pretty interesting. The look of the UI, things dislike, Spec Ops. Yeah, this is the recurring theme here. It's going to be Spec Ops. And the level of organization requires this mobile character collector game, not a MMO. You have things in the game that require alliance coordination, but we have plenty in War and Raids. This is just micromanaging and creating dissonance in alliance when people don't meet the requirements. The lack of node ingenuity. I get we are on the easy nodes, but it doesn't seem like 5 Guardians of the Galaxy will be tough with new characters. The pitiful daily rewards, no matter how small, should feel like progress, and the BattleWorld rewards just don't feel that way. And then this is some suggestions. Just entirely remove Spec Ops. It's unnecessary, and if you want to have a roster check in the mode, just rotate the node requirements and room bonuses. The cadence for daily rewards. When you have a rotating shop for a mode, should align better. We're on day 4 and haven't bought a single item from the shop because I simply can't. That's a misstep big time. Yeah, I think I got like 3,000 currency, and boy, the ISOs are like 11,000 and the character shards are like in the 4,000 or 5,000 range. Use a more Dark Dimension-esque thought process when creating the nodes, or if you really want it to be easy, add a sim button. So I feel like the biggest complaint is Spec Ops, and this is a spreadsheet that took Nah in our alliance hours to make, and he had to do it for every single day. And I don't know if we're going to continue doing this. We might move to a system where you're mandatory required to, when you log in before attacking any nodes, go into 8 first, which is the diamond, and then go in and do it that way. I think every alliance is doing it a different way, but I think we all can agree on this. Give alliance leaders the ability to block of certain Spec Ops. Basically the title. Not everyone has Discord. Messaging in-game sucks. Give alliance leaders the ability to focus or block out certain Spec Ops if we know we don't have 5 guys with a certain character. Like Odin. Odin was a Spec Ops. And the problem with that is if you do 29 out of 30, you don't get the points. So it's like, yeah, just don't do that room. And people are not going to know that, hey, we've only got 4 Odins in our alliance. So I'm going to go ahead and do the character next to Odin. And it's a waste. So having a way for alliance leader to block certain Spec Ops, literally same exact post. Marking room for BattleWorld Spec Ops. Can we get an attack, do not attack option in Spec Ops like we have in War? I know there are lots of people who see markings in War, ignore them, but unlike War, people wouldn't ignore the markings because the marked rooms have teams that are too challenging for them. Adding this one feature to Spec Ops and BattleWorld require a lot less active communication to make sure Spec Ops rooms aren't dropped. Yeah, because if you get to 29 of 30, you don't get the points. You've got to go 30 of 30 to get the points. Marked room Spec Ops is easy to understand. People look and see they have the required character and add them. Easy peasy. Why not a feature? One simple feature allowing leaders and captains mark rooms would make the game mode significantly better, significantly reducing the amount of communication needed to optimize success in this game mode. What? You guys don't like building and using spreadsheets like this? Come on now. This is excessive, right? I mean, the idea that that game mode needs this level of care to be successful is absurd, right? Okay, fine. There's still a potential issue of people ignoring some characters in marked rooms because that will potentially interfere with personal missions, but there's still the potential of people doing all their personal missions before even looking at Spec Ops requirements. But this would still be a huge step in the right direction. Still be getting better targeting on what to commit in this game mode. Yeah, and I feel like we got dumped into the easiest version of BattleWorld, and I feel like all of this conversation will get way worse when it becomes more complicated, where donating a character to Spec Ops means you're not able to get through a node, and then a decision has to be made which ways to get more points. Like if we want to ignore this room because if nobody has this character for that node, nobody can get through it, and it's going to be more optimal to just skip this entire Spec Op room. And without this feature, it makes planning more challenging, and frankly, this is just kind of absurd. But there was one person that loves BattleWorld. I love how they call it Battlegrounds. Please bring more like this to the game. I just love it. I wake up in the morning and auto sim the nodes, and Scopely helps you out by saying, hey guy, use these recommended teams for extra bonus points. What do I do? Which is not how it works. But anyways, I take their advice and use whatever team they think will make me get through the waves faster. On the cherry on top, I love it when I go to Spec Ops and say, I used this guy on the node before. I guess he's exhausted from hitting all those waves. So maybe next time I do my best to place 10 random characters so my alliance does not think I'm screwing their planning up that they do a day before. But I think, oh well, silly rabbit, Trexits, and spreadsheets are for kids. I blame them on time. I blame it on time zone issues, or that my English is my fourth language. Something has to stick for me to not load any more energy for this game. I don't have time for all that Discord and planning. I'll let the big brains of Scopely just direct me to use the extra minutes to just get through the daily battlegrounds. I like how they call it battlegrounds in BattleWorld. Oh, the sarcasm on this post is extreme, right? Extreme! Top tier Reddit post. Through the daily BG by the recommendations. Game is so fun to just zoom in and auto. I also recently started a mini game for myself to see if I could get out fast enough before I get a random pop-up offer appears in game. So far, I am winning Scopely. Like my ex would say, I am in and out before anyone notices. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. This is one of the best posts I've seen on Reddit. And this is what Reddit should be about. I love these kinds of posts. The sarcasm is 9,000. I do think this is an improvement. I'm loving that I can use this as a text box. It is so much better. Also, part of me wonders why this was not a day one feature. And I also question myself in that I'm so excited about this, yet this is like the most basic feature that should be in every game. I mean, it's like, I've used this analogy before. It's like going to McDonald's and saying, oh, wow, they have a restroom. And maybe it's clean, we'll see. And being like thrilled that there's a restroom. No, it just should be something that you expect and is going to be inside a McDonald's, a restroom, right? This should just be a thing in a game. We shouldn't be like excited to have something that should just be obviously there. And then lastly, 60 teams for blitz rotation now. Sim button is necessary at this point. There's 60 teams for blitz rotation now. It's getting a bit much. Auto sim feature, please. Plenty of other features in game where you can get your login time. Thanks in advance. My apologies, I meant to auto sim the entire 60 teams at once. I do think they've moved away from blitz in some ways, which I think is a good thing. All right, what do you think about BattleWorld? I gotta say, I'm waiting for Null Day, and I'm waiting for the higher difficulties. But right now, I feel like some of these small changes, specifically with Spec Ops, would be welcomed by the community. Bye for now.